the heart of this nation, under skies so blue,
there's a spirit that's stirring, values strong and true.
from the mountains to the prairies, from the cities to the sea, we stand for liberty, for faith and family. We're diving deep into the heart of what we believe.
Okay, welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take the sources you share with us and, well, try to figure out what's really going on.
Yep. And today we are diving into what looks like a significant piece of news about a shift, maybe, in U.S. immigration enforcement policy.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we're relying on one specific source. It's an article from the Daily Mail.
Right. The title is, Trump Makes Major U-Turn on Mass Deportation Policy That Could Affect Thousands of Businesses Across Country.
Okay. So our mission here is pretty focused. We want to unpack exactly what this Daily Mail article is reporting. You know, what change does it say happened? Why does it say it happened?
And who, according to the article, within the administration is involved, maybe pushing different ways.
That's it. We're sticking strictly to the details in this Daily Mail piece to understand its reporting on this specific event.
Makes sense. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's unpack this. According to this article, there's been, well, a noticeable move by the Trump administration.
Yeah, it says IC officials have apparently been told to put a pause on certain raids.
That's right. Specifically, raids targeting farms, hotels, and restaurants.
The article calls it hitting the brakes.
Yeah, hitting the brakes. For the first time, it says on what the article calls the administration's mass deportation agenda.
Okay, that's strong framing in the article. And the reason it gives.
Well, this is interesting. It quotes a Truth Social post from President Trump himself.
Oh, what did it say?
He apparently acknowledged his aggressive policy has been taking very good long-time workers away from farmers and hospitality businesses.
Right, and that those jobs are almost impossible to replace. That's a direct quote in the article.
That's what the article quotes, yes. And it says he expanded on this later at a press conference.
Okay.
Talking about farmers being hurt badly, losing people who'd worked for them for like 20 years.
Wow. So the article quotes him saying things like, we can't take farmers and take all their people.
And send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have. Yeah, that's the quote provided. And he reportedly signaled changes were coming.
So the article connects the dots there.
Mm-hmm.
Public statements from the president linking enforcement to economic impact on specific industries.
Exactly. And then it reports the official order came through differently.
How so?
Via email, apparently, from a senior ICE official named Tatum King sent out to regional leaders.
Okay, Tatum King. And what did that email actually instruct them to do, according to the Daily Mail?
It told them, and this is specific, to hold on all worksite enforcement investigation operations on agriculture.
Okay, agriculture.
Yeah.
Including aquaculture and meatpacking plants, it says.
Yes, and also restaurants and operating hotels.
Huh. That's quite a clear list of sectors based on the article's reporting, but it wasn't like a complete shutdown of all enforcement there, right?
No, not according to the email quoted in the article.
Good point.
It clarified that other things were still okay. Right. It reportedly said investigations into human trafficking, money laundering, drug smuggling into these industries are okay.
Got it. So the pause, as the article presents it, is really focused on the general immigration status enforcement at work sites in those sectors. Agriculture, restaurants, hotels.
Precisely. And there was another key instruction in that reported email about not arresting non-criminal collaterals.
Non-criminal collaterals.
Yeah.
How does the article explain that term?
It interprets it as referring to undocumented immigrants found during raids who haven't committed crimes other than their immigration status violation.
Okay, so people whose only offense is being undocumented.
Yes, and the article describes that specific instruction as a huge departure from, well, recent rhetoric.
How so?
It reports that over the last few months, the administration had been advocating deporting all undocumented immigrants, regardless of criminal record.
Right, so this reported shift, focusing away from the non-criminal ones in these sectors, is presented as a big contrast.
A very big contrast, according to this piece, which, raises the question the article poses. Why the change now?
And the Daily Mail points a finger, doesn't it?
It does. Directly at the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins.
Ah, okay. Based on what?
It cites a White House official and another source familiar with the situation.
And they reportedly said
That it was Rollins who convinced Trump to kind of soften the stance. She apparently told him about the farmers' concerns.
Concerns that aggressive ICE enforcement would hurt their businesses.
Exactly. That's the connection the article draws. Economic pressure, specific industries, relayed via the Ag Secretary, leading to this policy tweak.
That's the narrative in this report. But it also suggests not everyone was on board internally.
Definitely not, according to this article. It highlights reported tension within the administration.
And the main figure pushing back or pushing for a harder line, according to the Mail.
White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller.
Right. The article says he's been pushing for much higher numbers of arrests.
Yeah, it reports he wanted a minimum of 3,000 arrests a day by IC.
Wow, 3,000 a day. That's a lot.
Yeah.
The article mentions a specific meeting, too.
It does. A meeting ICE apparently confirmed Miller held with top directors back on May 20th.
And the tone was reportedly quite harsh.
Very. It quotes a source saying Miller came in there and eviscerated everyone.
Eviscerated. Strong word.
Told them they weren't doing a good job, called them horrible leaders. That's all reported language from the source in the article.
And it says he challenged them directly on where they weren't making arrests.
Yeah, reportedly asking things like, why aren't you at Home Depot? Why aren't you at 7-Eleven?
So the picture painted in this article is of Miller pushing for, well, a much broader, more visible worksite enforcement effort.
That's certainly how the article portrays it, and it adds that ICE agents themselves were apparently surprised by this new guidance.
Which makes sense if they'd been told for weeks or months to ramp up efforts, as the article suggests.
Right. And even Tatum King, the official who sent the memo, reportedly acknowledged the impact.
What did he say, according to the quote?
He apparently wrote in the message that by taking this off the table, that we are eliminating a significant hashtag of potential targets.
So an acknowledgement right there in the reported memo about the scale of the change.
Seems so. And the Department of Homeland Security, did they comment for the article?
Yes, DHS reportedly confirmed the new guidance to the Daily Mail.
Okay.
And a spokeswoman quoted in the article stated they'd follow the president's direction to continue to work to get the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens off of America's streets.
Which seems, consistent with the reported focus away from the non-criminal collaterals.
It does seem to align with that part of the reported order, yeah.
Okay, so, stepping back, what does this all mean, based purely on this Daily Mail report we've been digging into?
Well, we've looked at this one article describing what it calls a significant policy shift.
Right. A reported pause on certain ICE worksite raids, specifically affecting agriculture, hotels, and restaurants.
We've seen the reasons the article cites, businesses reporting they're losing essential workers.
And the reported influence of the Secretary of Agriculture in bringing those concerns straight to the president.
But we also saw the flip side, reported in the article, this internal tension.
Yeah, figures like Stephen Miller reportedly pushing for a much, much tougher approach, even apparently confronting ICE officials about it.
So this specific event, as it's reported in this single Daily Mail article, it really does raise an interesting question for you, the listener, to think about.
What's that?
Just what does this one instance, as described here, suggest about that complicated mix? The interplay between economic worries, political pressures.
And those internal disagreements, how all that actually shapes real-world government policy on the ground.
Exactly. Something to consider based on this report.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
In the heart of this nation, under skies so blue, there's a spirit that's stirring, values strong and true. From the mountains to the prairies, from the cities to the sea, we stand for liberty, for faith and family. We're diving deep into the heart of what we believe.